The concept of knowing is everything in set locations of your systems. Now we have to understand how to use it through correlation, especially when you get into your connection settings. The reverberation channels, the highest stream locations, your hemisync calculation settings, your minus the consciousness location. It's all adaptation of surface. It's all about understanding the earth perception locations. People get a lot of confusion because they don't understand what's going on, right? That's totally fine. But the system location setting is all about where your earth is supposed to be at a certain frequency at a certain time. Okay. Setting the track to its correlation system, your earth has already been there in set location, hasn't left anywhere. So in location system, your body factory line rotation settings to its manufacturing to its set location system is an infrastructure. How to really understand it through design is really understand through modification. How to use your higher self, your avatar, and your sim is all simplifications. So we all have to understand how to use it through operation. Okay. So today's November 1st, line streams, application line systems, all levels. Today the class is going to go through all calculations in Nebula. Now you're going to see nebulins, how to really understand the inner line core, the outer line core, inner space, outer space. Okay, inner line, outer line. Okay, inner link, outer link. Okay, inner time, outer time. Okay, inner force, outer force. These are the things you have to get into modification. Okay, really understand how to use the mind of travel because it provisions your cycles and opens up all levels of you, especially when you come into 24 grounds. Okay, so it's the 24 atmosphere lines of space, but it's the outside line. It's the rims. It's the outer rings. Okay, so you're always working with that, but it's the outer. Okay, so it's like a box line rotation or line calculation setting securities of perimeters and parameters is at positions. So you're working with 24 outline and you're working with 144 inline. Now the 144 inline is where it gets tricky because your positions to your acceleration lines and Mach line stream locations changes seconds per minute per hour. You have to really understand how to use your cells of generation line settings or regeneration or remodifications or retriangulation or anything through interline connections to its interception or interface position attractions. So we all have to understand how to use it through revision. Higher self uses it through locations of what? Schumann resonance. Okay, it's that location where it comes into effect, cosmic effect, universal effect, deviation effect, fractal effect. So we all have to understand how this all works in your set location, your settings, because it gives you so many lines of communication, right? Especially when you get into your chakra systems of 114. This is the basic surroundings, how you come into set locations through your travel location settings. Okay. The adaptation surface and all lines of angle points are now in point system. So it's a point graph calculation to electrical line, graph line, rotation, interference, and subposition attraction. Try to understand how to use it through your set locations, how to use yourself through the connections to all levels of settings, modification of stream locations, the modulations, the modules, the bottles, the teleportation streams, inline connection, high setting. So we all have to understand how to use it through ramifications, right? So it's like you get in a car. I like to use a car as an example because it gets you a better understanding. You need a grounds, right? So you have the car, right? So you have the grounds of the car, and you have your sim in the car, right? But it's a higher self and the avatar of one, which is the oversoul. So the oversoul sees the ground, sees the car, and sees where he's going through navigation or where she's going through navigation. So that's all it is. The grounds is the higher self. Okay. The actual car line is the avatar, geometric operation design, and the sim is applications and navigation. That's three modification lines allocation in your systems, all through form. Now, really understand when you look at your connections of your keyboards, you're looking at all calculation settings into your flights. Flight lines of one track location new ground lines. Flight lines of two track locations of security. Flight lines of three, Fibonacci line sequence of balance. Flight lines of four, direction of timeline sequence locations in all line position modification lines location of solar generation stream locations. Flight lines of connections, power lines of five, modification of your timelines, heart direction of time sequence, reactor line position attraction. Flight line six, line location throw pattern, line rotation interference into cortex stream locations. Flight line is seven, theta box line interference, set position travel. flight lines of 8, 8 lines of infinity, line rotation surface. Flight lines of 9, energy wash, rainbow wash, line stream interference is set position all track location setting and position all levels of operation. Flight lines of 10, galactic family, line calculations, ethers, umbrellas, communication stream locations. Flight lines of 11, solar system track location setting near solar generation stream locations, all levels of travel. Flight lines of 12, divine. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Right? So we all understand how this all works, how to use it through the aerodynamics, the cryogenetics, the crypto line communication setting, high center interference. Your ramification is extremely important, especially when you come to higher levels of navigation. All right, points the system to all calculations and settings. Your Schumann resonance of your higher self is nothing but a graph screen. Everything is a modification to a window. You guys are in the window frames. 72 gets you into the computer frame of an actual computer itself. So you have the base and you have the window. Okay. So that alone is its own geometric operation of its design setting and set locations. How to use it through its tab, how to use it through its caps, how to use it through its locks, how to use it through its escape, how to use it through all levels of flight navigation settings. Yeah, ever wonder why it's at locations, why you have flight 1 all the way to 12? That is representing your what? Your chakra system, your foundation graph line connection settings, guys. It's not a coincidence that it's 12. Could have been 13, could have been 14, could have been 15. But that wouldn't make any sense now, would it? So, because that timeline center line interference was all position tracked to its communication setting, computer operation to its server location was falsity, position location levels line centers. So in light track location system, you've always been in a 24 graph locations of a computer frame location of flight navigations, not 12. The center line interference and high calculated stream locations. So when I see in the keyboard, I see 24 signature streamlines, not 12. See, it's about what you see through perception. It's about changing the intent that changes the influence location to its triangulation. The resurface in position is the interface locations of conception. How to understand it through all calculation, right? Through modifications. All right. All right. Morning, everyone. So get ready. We're going to go through travel communications into Nebula. All right. So how this is all set up is all schematics, line calculations, and location your clock lines. Rotation spin lines is set position of travel to its communication. Okay. Now, really understand the line settings and high position of travel communications. It opens all calculations. Getting that set location line centers is calculation of 3 lines, right? Directing lines of graph and rotation surface into a solar sail. Sets location of ground lines, operation surface location system and traction. So getting that line communications, we come into all settings, kaleidoscope line, center line interference, and lights of communication into projection at set location. Okay, very complicated stuff. All right, so Nebula is on a course line. Stargate panels, starline division, starline rotation interference. Okay, tracks correlation, 1 signature stream. So there's an XT1000 right here in line positions, going through in set location line settings and crossing stream locations. See how it goes on its laser grid, set location and travel. Okay, see the intelligence, see the eyes, there's the intelligence. Boom. 3 line angles, high line rotation interference, 0 gravity lines of 0, 1, setting a 24 stream, so locations into 0, 2, sets location of 0, 3, and sets locations of 0, 4. Sets line calculations, so it's 24 lines of 1, 24 lines of 2, 3, and 4 set location. Okay, travel records some time sequence, all levels of pi, correlations of panels, direct signals in 1 positions of 1 panel, in an operational line, ground line, rotation surface, and set location. Triangulation line center and line conditions all levels of platforms, and line rotation surface, and triangulation reset positions of programs and set locations. Okay, now get into line, initiate lines of 5 lines of 4, 3, 2, 1, all calculation high system. Get the team lines of Nebula. Boom, you guys are there. Flying direction and timelines, skin line interference and nebulance. Okay, cross line, center line interference. Don't touch anything. All computers and frames are all set locations to your high calculation, your DNA. All signature patterns of correlation line interference. Don't touch anything. Line interference, just sit down, relax, hide set locations and see the video screen and line rotations to Nebula. And position location across lines and 3 line communications to travel. Okay, have fun. It's all set up. So it's amazing how you set location in the nebula and clock line rotation surface and triangulation of 3 programs, line calculation of 3 platforms, and line rotation experience, a 0 gravity communication setting, a 24 line setting of 01, 02, 03, and 04. Track locations of 5 line positions as center line rotation. Triangulation line set location and programs. Directing communications, all levels, interpretation unit of an XT1000. Okay, done my equation. All right. So we get a signature streamline calculation line centers. So you got 25 line centers of hours, 2 million line track location lines of seconds, and position of minutes through line system. Now that puts positions all levels of patterns. That opens all calculating high interference to track communications, all through detection. Okay, so have fun with that location. All right, so how are we doing through provision? Let's see here. Janelle, connection line levels of high center location to Trinity, Gypsy, all levels of Heather. Session track lines at Chris location, all level settings at Angela. Angela's track to its communication setting, not track location. So you guys have to really get into more of your pre-flights. Really check these things. Check this, check that, because your mind conceptual line stream is changing high position location attraction zone. Okay. All right. So in that rotation, you guys are going through that settings. We're going to set up a formula locations of pi. Formula in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 set location. Okay. Indicates high calculation setting of point systems and sonar line calculation of 3 lines of waves and set position travel. Okay. Heart recognition of timelines and heart line settings, heart direct location system, heart line set location system, heart line communication settings, northwest, south, and east and set locations. Travel recognition time sequence, 1 position, 2 position, 3 positions, 4. Okay. So we come in an open signal, open line, and again, a signature pattern. Rotate the surface. Sets lines of triangulation, reset position locations, all lows, into pi as set location. All right. Now, this modifies its lines as center, opens all signal location to its dome in line rotation. Okay. Center position of track lines, vortex streams. Okay. So that's 700,000 line units in line rotation surface and triangulation. Resetting programs as center position of each line, cross the stream location of 2 panels in line connection setting. See? Setting track to its location system and position locations of patterns. Calculation line interference into another pi at rotation surface. Ground lines, operation surface, and set locations to the 3 lines in position of panel and communication. Tracking its correlation setting to ground lines, operation surface location centers, and set locations. All right, done by equation. All right, so in modification lines, the H line centers changes 2 patterns, 2 rotors line rotations, and 3 panels line rotation surface. Re-angle points to high set location. XT1000 comes in 2 waving line cycles, says position track lines, crossing streams in line rotations, sets lines of communication as center line of communication. 3 communication line settings, all right? 4 recognition of time sequence, high center interference. Sun comes in, moon comes in, and line rotation, surface, and triangulation resets of programs and direct signal. So the sun sets line communication northwest, south, and east, and all line rotation surface and all calculation line system to an angle of point system locations. Done by equation. All right. So getting a clock line change is erection of times, puts positions of new frame line centers and set location you're setting through intelligent locations. Remember, there's face recognitions to everything in set locations, right? So you're always in the inner child of a face, okay? Okay, so in that line connection system, without the face recognition, you can't do anything to structure because of what it is. The connections of its pad has to recognize you first. You are in the center of everything. That's face recognition, okay? Face recognition to everything, okay? Face recognition to everything, okay? Face recognition to everything. Okay. So that's what you guys have to come into, face recognition of everything. Okay. Okay. So that's what you guys are coming, modification lines, higher center interference. Now, because you're out of the molecules and you're in the higher center location line settings and fractals of location system, and everybody line connecting high settings when they come into the immortal status quo, high calculations of stat, ST, AT, sets lines of static. Systematic lines of teleportation lines of atmosphere line rotations and teleportation stream location intelligence of communication. Static charge, line positions of pi, directing position, location, track lines. 0 lines of 1. Now we have 0 lines of 2. Change the track to its communication center and line rotation interference, and set the locations into 5 generation stream locations. 4 lines of signature equals lines of 5. 5 line calculation setting, negative over pi, indirect signal. Negative over positive jumps line calculation stream location setting and track location. High line rotation surface, and then realize line setting in a line rotation of center communication to its position of the dome, center line communication setting of travel, and recognition of time sequence in all calculation system and all levels of travel. All right, done by equation. That goes out the equation line center high position to its operation. Waving patterns. Okay, so we may come into tone division locations. Okay, rhythm pattern correlation setting ground lines. Operations separate locations crop circles. Sets line conditions of 2 track location centers. Operation line calculations at delta and line conditions high center. Direct line conditions of box frame location system, and 3 triangulation line and rotation centers. Triangulation high center position to its operation surface. So scales in position, 2 line tracks, high line rotation interference. There's the intelligence. Boom. Right? You're always in face recognition, everything that you do through structure. Okay. Plotted 2 lines, a 3 line rotation surface. All right. Puts graph line screens 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Only on 8 provision. So the 8 comes in line calculations, crossing line settings, and set location. Okay. Window frames, 2 panels, line setting lines, a high calculation stream locations, generation stream locations into your, guessed it, position of your pyramid. Pyramid line rotation interference into line settings. High calculation line rotation center into circular communication system. Triangulate line centers in all levels of water containment line rotation center position location to its operation line and in a rotation setting. Into all levels of its intelligence at all set location of its thin bot and line rotation. Thin bot. We can view through location line centers. All set up through location. All right. Me, thin bot. Thin bot, meet me. Okay. Done through equation. Direction of time sequence locations of patterns. Okay. Waiting on signal. Kind of looks like short circuit. Number 5, alive. Okay. So when you understand how to set these things up through coordinates, line settings of future adaptation surface, there's a triangulation reset that spots the system location of graph lines. Sums high line interference, alpha, delta, and theta set location. Stepping lines of 2 panels, line stream locations. High calculation line interference into atom lines of 2 line division. Center line communication of sun and the moon and line position to its operation. Triangulation resets programs, 1 position 2, line position of 3, 4, and 5 set location of graph lines. Direct lines of 5 into 4, into 3, into 2, into 1 set locations. All levels of graph communication solar graph. Sets line communication lines into the atmosphere change, into the delta waves, into theta communication. 3 line center line interference in high calculation setting and location system, and all lines of point system locations. Done by equation. All right, so that waits on signal. We come back into short circuit. All right, box line rotation center lines, 2 point position line condition of fractals, 3 line rotation centers, 3, 3, 3. Panel communications into diamond core line, shift line, stream locations. Calculation modify line interference and sign communication settings, all levels into an optical line stream in line rotation surface and reset positions of program communication of center calculation. Direct line calculation setting in high position. And all line communications, all probing at set position. Done by equation. Okay. Yeah, I know. That's exactly what it is. Right? It's a thin bot. You have to understand location setting through an Android or anything through symbiotic location system or cyborg. But it's all records of time sequence. So it puts specific locations of the me, and specific location line calculation setting, solar graph communication probing, line calculating line position, software location of center communication of flywheel. Direct communication line interference, water containment line rotation interference into delta theta, specific location of mega, line center location of line center, Zeta is aim line or rotation, position attract, communication line interference, position operation, third location, setting, position attract, communication, operation line connection, line system. Down through equation. Boom, boom, boom. 3 communication line settings, all levels of high center interference, all direct panels, and modification. So it's great to have position location. What's going on? Diane, how's it going? All right, so we got 3-point track lines. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Sets position location of 0, 1 and position location of 0, 0, 1 and position location of 0, 0 in the line calculations in position of 2. Sets location in the line calculation. 2 comes into 3. And 1 becomes into 3. And 1 becomes into 3. Heart line, soul line, rotation, surface, triangulation, reset position progress. Sets correlation centers, a center line, rotation center, and set location. Triangulation, high center line interference of all calculations, stream location of centers, and 3-point systems in crop circles and 4-line rotation centers and 5-line connections, a high position. Direct and communication line interference, high position location, line connections. Now we go into the angle point into 3-point systems of 3 waving line streams. Sets position location of the sun. Sun comes in line rotation center only in a graph line calculation setting of 1/3 graph location. There it is again. This time it's an Android. Nautical communication lines, panel line rotation interference, clustering communication setting, open all track communication lines, body frame line rotation centers, all levels of shoulder blades, shoulder connections, and high position track lines, and calculation stream location of center positions of operation. Down by equation. See how this application of thin bots and androids, symbiotic line connectivity interference of cyborgs. Correction of timelines and previous position of pattern lines of future adaptation line, the interference location of center communication setting, all through calculations, optical lines, stream location centers, I like high interference location of galaxy shift lines and stream location centers. Indirect signal and line connection high settings, all levels of operation surface. Okay, so it's interlocation line system. See? Boom. See how they're in position? All right. And we got into frame position locations. Look where it took me. Boom. Right here. Interesting, right? And knew exactly where to go next, right? That's where we are provision. Site communication of point systems. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 lines of 3. Lines of 7, line position of 5. Line connection of 12 to 24 to 48, 72, and 144. 72 graph locations in a point systems and graph calculation settings. Down by equation. All right. Blast off. Initiate line position location of graph lines. High calculation lines of circle line communication. Point system line calculation setting. 24 line rotations of Nebula. Nebula line fierce locations. All levels of north. High positions of north. High positions of north. High position of north. Diamond core line. Center line position of traction and position of operation. Center line communication is center line center. Center position location of ground lines operation surface. And triangulation reposition as a program location centers of set position. Triangulation line connections. This is where the X2000 goes around and round and center position to its operation server location of center line connections. Okay, down by equation. Modification line, circle line communication settings of travel. One way in the opposite direct locations in set position to its operation service. Star center line calculation setting, all direct location of future adaptation surface. Direct communication lines, open all signals, and this location, high center interference operation. Down by equation. All right. So there's a reason why we're getting into so many communication line settings, all through calculation system, androids, thin bots, cyborgs, cybergenetics, line calculation setting interference. Teleportation line is a communication of all levels. Formulates a high calculation stream location system. Opens up all capsules. Remodifies your line settings, recalculates and reangulates line and center location of travel communication setting to open signals, positions of patterns and line communication setting to operation. So we go into circle line communications, adding new frame line streams and center position. Okay, center calculation line interference of set position location of point systems, right? 4-point line rotation centers and track locations. 4-point line rotations crosses stream locations, right? Come into position locations, all level settings. Okay, line connection unifications crosses line centers of 3 line settings. Positions of platforms, travels lines in line rotation of magnetic high force line channel, indirect signal location of center. Okay, done by equation, right? And if you look really close, you can see the position of its point system. Probing line communication, see? Intelligence. Right here is that location. Boom! You see it? Okay? It's amazing how it comes in track location, right? Through its flywheel. Sets lines, communication streams, in position locations, clock line centers, high calculation line centers, in rotation surface, in nebula to nebula in set location. That is a nebula. Okay? Mega pass. Okay, so in position, waiting on signal, the modification line settings, a high position of travel calculation line settings, 0 correlation setting and track location system, put position lines of 48, triangulation lines of compressors, flux pass position location, 2 line settings, high position, sets line communication settings on all levels, select these signal locations into position location to a system, sets line calculation setting, waving line cycles, course line inference of dimension line streams, direct signal location modifications all levels through cortex stream locations into cell lines, sets locations of point system, the particle stream locations, high generation lines and locations, fire and wire. The elixir patterns and line rotation center is high position its traction, high line rotation surface in all calculation system, in point system line connections, all levels of setting, all levels of division, all levels of calculation to its system, and track location to its intelligence of its formation. The intelligence, boom, boom. Mega multipass. Point system of track locations, high generation stream location of centers, operation line system to its location. All right, so it's amazing how you come into this line connections, right? So we're getting more line communication of face recognition of time sequence. Okay. All right, time by equation. Recognition of timelines, light signature patterns, energy cycles, and communication of high position to its operation settings. 1 point system ground lines, alpha line tones, 1 position offline cycles, high generation stream location of center. Operation line settings of ground, the crop circle location of center in position to its operation. 3 communication line settings all levels. Operation line calculation of the sun, crosses line streams and line communication setting into oval communication setting, optical line stream location of travels, and 24 signature position location of patterns. Direct communication lines, rainbow, in position location of 24 signature stream locations of centers of operation surface, and triangulation reset position of programs of its intelligence, and high position location of its operation line settings in its set location to its operation system in triangulation and high calculation. Intelligence. Boom! Okay. Mega pass. All right. So you see how they're all coming together? You see how they're all coming together now? Boom. Right? All right. Getting into ramifications, all level settings, metric meters, scales, balance, position line connections of yin and yang, process lines and location of 6 and 9. Direct lines of panel lines, operation service lines, correlation of high centers, molecule structure locations, atom lines and routers and router line and rotations of flywheel direction of time sequence, position of pattern lines, correlation setting to track to its communication setting, abundance over pi, direction of time sequence, all line position location of constant communication lines of nebula, nebula's line rotation center and track location setting, all levels of operation location to its intelligence position operation. Done by equation. So there's a reason why I'm setting up face recognitions. So the track location centers is line positioning to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We get 8 lines of intelligent face recognition of time sequence positions of pi. Correlations of box location, box location, box location, box locations, 4 lines of 5 line generation, string locations, line saying cross lines, streams, and position location measured. Position line track lines, operation surface and sun communication setting to its operation line system. Position locations, clustering communication of its intelligence. Operation line calculation setting. The XC1000 comes in. Sets positions all levels. Scan center line communication, send line rotation inference, sending communication levels, calculation modification line stream inference, rainbow graphic location, stream location settings, and position of pi. Direct signal. Down by equation. That's going to fly up direction timelines, FYI. FYI, position location, traction, teleportation, telecommunication, teleangles, high calculation settings, point system, point system, point system, point system, all direct location. Direct communication lines, all lines of calculation hanger, hand position location 3 lines, high position of 4 line, communication settings of traction, position locations, ground lines, and position locations of center lines, and position location operation surface, and position location operation line conditions, and set location. Sets lines, a formation line stream, set position of the sun and communication setting, track location system, and position operation. Magnetic higher information line, cross line streams, and 3 line communication 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Set position to operation, down by equation. Mechanism cloud channels, line connections on levels, cloud line rotation, calculation line interference, sun and the moon comes in position of traction, right? Sun's here, moon's here, yin and yang, process position travel calculations. Direct correlations, travel lines, dimension line, lock lines, screen locations, high center interference, laser grid positions of travel communications, block line center high interference, laser communication setting, graph lines, Skynet's high position travel communication. Direct communication line setting, X3000 comes in line calculation, scans lines of center line rotation to 1 to 2, 3, 4, and 5 line settings at graph location. Down by equation. Okay, outwitted in line rotation center. Coming into graphic communication of center location settings, operation line at set locations. So we have point system line settings and all calculations. Okay, point systems, all calculation lines are clock lines. All right, this is a clock. Okay, it doesn't have to be in this order. It doesn't have to be in 12, doesn't have to be in 24. It can be anything like calculation setting instructions. So point system of 24, line calculations of 48. So I'm going back in position, but I'm going forward in line setting. 48, 72, track locations in 144, track line calculation setting, position of 244, set location of 344, set location line, set location of 444, and line calculation setting into 544. 2 solar generation line interference, 5 indicate line position location into heart in generation stream location. Directed panels, 3 lines of communication. All right, get in that communication line center, sun comes in, moon comes in, and rotation surface and triangulation reset positions or programs. Down by equation, that's a clock. Setting track lines and high center interference, mechanism high position location program settings all over the clock line interference, nebula. Line communications, set lines of triangulation, box line, and circle communication. That's a clock. Sets location of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Set position of track lines and 2 line rotation surface. Sun comes in, but centers lines only in 1 rotation surface. Direct communication lines, ground lines, operational line system location of travels. Point systems, all levels. Point systems, all levels. Point systems, all levels. 3 left lines, 4 lines, high calculation your pyramid, and line position to its operation. Flywheel, direction of time sequence, and position of panels. Direct communication setting line and rotation to your flywheel line, position of the mechanism, high position of travels, and position of power. Power direction of center line and communications. Opens all signals into figure 8 and rotation surface. Triangulates high calculation setting into your elixir, panels, lines, and streamlines of 3 indication lines of pi, and position locations of 24. 48 lines of high calculations, frame lines, 72 computer frame line, interference 144. Set of communication lines, travel communication, security, position levels of patterns, high calculation lines, stream in position locations, and all levels of indication to its intelligent formation line, setting location of center. Done by equation. Okay, everything is a formation of intelligence of a face recognition. So we all understand how this all works inside location. Okay, everything I do is through pi, but it's all face, right? It's all face. See, it's all face. Okay, so you're always in frame, which is great. So we're in these set locations out of the 48. Now we're in a 72 frame, sets locations of 24 line setting, equals lines of 24, and 4 line position and provision. Sets correlations of 24 lines of angles. Calculation line center interference of 2 arrows and line rotations and 1 position track lines, 0 communication centers, and line setting high position to its operation surface. Okay, so in that track locations, we take the 24 lines, weights on signals of 0, 1 location. Okay. Downshift line cross lines, 48 line provision, which is an open window, set of travel lines. Crosses line calculation setting, all positions. Opens all 6 panels, C equals location of the moon. Moon track line calculation setting, all levels operation surface in a half line wind cycle. Direct communication crosses line stream location. Directing communications crosses line settings and 0 communication setting to operation. Sets position and track lines in 24, 48, 72, and 144. Sets position and graph lines in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 position location of shadow lines. Directing communications and patterns. All level center line communication setting of point systems. Point system here, 4-point line rotation centers, interactions and nebula, and center line communication setting, a clock line interference of center communication setting, a future adaptation location of clock lines in present location into now. Done my equation. Okay, that surface is out. Now, how we go through line setting is really understand how to really get into modifications, right? So we get 0 line communications into 1 position, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And everything I do is set line conditions 8, line conditions 9, 10 line center patients, 11 here in position locations. 12 indicates lines of 1 in position of 2, and 1 indicates lines in location of 3, 3, 3. Heart, mind, and soul, bracket communication setting, attraction. Laser direct line calculation setting, XD1000 comes in position. Scans position location line systems, 9, line conditions of 8, 7, 10, 4, 3, 5, 6, 0 lines, 1 line rotations, 2 panels correlation setting, track lines. Bracket communication, center lines of communication setting, opens all signals, panel line communication setting, all of the travel communication lines into the calculation system in future of the now. All right. Security line defense is set location. Travel records and timelines, set lines of calculation near pyramid line, rotation surface. Direct and communication lines, mountains. We got 2 lines of mountain line rotation surface, triangulation reset positions of programs. 2-point system line calculation setting. Point system, balance line rotation. Intelligence. See it? All right. 2 window frames, 2 box frames, 2 triangulation line settings, and box line set location. High line rotation surface. Sets position all levels. Opens all signals. Opens all panels. Opens all magnetic highway information lines. A center line rotation interference into 72 graph line calculation setting. And future of the now is the existing location of its position and traction. Done by equation. All right. Okay, so that's done. It's amazing, but you look at really communication, you look at the scales. But you also see the intelligence, right? Through window frames and location setting, all calculations of realms and travel communication of portals and calculation line stream locations. All through indication, right? All right, so that's set up. Okay, so how many calculation stream locations do we have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This location 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There we go. So you got 12 line signature string locations at 2 over pi. Direct calculation line interference of phase direction of time sequence. So into Nebula, line center location on clock lines is balanced position of travels. Putting position of 1 signature string locations. Center communications, operational line setting high position to its measure. Setting a line calculation setting clock line, high center interference, all line rotation surface, and high position location of center position. Center communications, all levels. Open all pattern lines of a galaxy shift line, high calculation set lines in a tunnel into 2 line stream locations, centers of operation surface. Done by equation. So what I'm doing is just scaling the set lines of metric meters as applications of pi over charge over line set location underscore. You guys are underscore through fractals, calculates high positions all levels. It's getting into mortal stat, getting into mortal line rotation interference into position locations all levels. God particles communications, atom line calculation setting, modification line interference, modules, module communication navigation line setting, locations into your molecule structure communication settings. The fractal correlate setting, high position defrag, and position attraction. Done by equation. Okay. All right, so we're all done. Okay, so mechanism of travel is understand the point lines. Graphic communication setting of travels. 0 point, 0 point, got 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1, 1, 1, 1. Open signal position locations. open signal, and line setting. So the open signal opens up line centers 0 lines of 2-track location of settings. Now the graphical screen line calculation setting sets position location to your line position to your pyramid and 4 direct signals to set location. So one's line signature and set locations. Perceptions over pi in direct signal operates line set location across circle center lines of communication. Now directing communication lines of panels high lines as communication stream locations into higher levels of division in your position of track locations of clocking. Done by equation. So platforms and communication, indirect signal, inline rotation centers. There's another pyramid. Direct communication lines as center lines, flux capacitor positional travel lines, point system, and line connections. All levels set location of 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 lines of 7, 6 lines of 8, 8 lines of 9, 9 lines of 10, 10 lines of 12, 24 line signatures, 48 line windows, 72 graph communications of computer frames, and 144 in a clock line center location of future adaptation of universal line connections all levels. Switching division, location center. Boom. Done by equation. It's all done. Okay, so we got the flywheel in position. There it is, this location. Now it's balanced. And so you can really see the modification, how it sets location alpha, delta, and theta sets. It's very powerful when you come to location you're setting attraction. Okay. So it's important to understand what's going on with the location you're setting, especially with the face recognition line settings. So we got 13 track lines. Okay. Graphing communications and modulations in one program. Box line rotations, 13 equals lines overcharge. Okay. Pi indicates solar into rainbow line setting in stream location. So the 13 lines of 1 and 3 line communications opens up. Okay. Pattern line centers of pi overrides the set location line channels of communication setting at position of operation. Sets travel communication in 0 lines into new solar graph location system in a 72 computer frame, all through traction. Now the open sequence of panels, recognition of face recognition, opens all channel communication settings and structure of its design, sending communication to a setting, intelligence. See the intelligence? Boom, done by equation, right? So you're always, always, always in face recognition. Everything that you do is the inner child, the structure, okay? That's done. So 14 waveline settings, all right? We got to get to 15. So 14 communication line streams. This goes into cell line rotation surface. Now this goes into cerebral cortex line setting locations. I'm doing light codes, light stream line connection, high center interference, intermodulation line settings, all in modification, inter communications as center. Sets position attract to its communication surface and all levels of angle point location centers. Sets line calculation wire lines, high center interference, and program notification system, and travel calculations. Done by equation. Okay. All right, signature streams, 0 line correlation. Track to its correlation setting. Scales and measure, balance lines of cerebral cortex stream locations. Light signature lines into the positions of all levels. Scale lines divisions and open signal. Puts 15 line stream location of face recognition of time sequence in positions of panels and line rotation surface in line position to its operation line conditions in position to its operation locations. Done by equation. All right, so we're there. See, here's the eye. Boom. Okay, it's all done. It's all done now. We're at 15 face recognition. All right, so in position, guys, that's it. That's all it is. We're at 50 track of face recognition line calculation setting to track to its communication of future of now line operation line surface. This puts all levels of formula location system of the existence of the now. Woo! We're all in position location. All right. So getting that line rotations, we've got 3 line graphs. Okay, 3 line graphs crosses line settings at 3 locations. Directed communication lines of XC1000, backs lines of rotation centers, backline rotations, forward communication line streams. Direct communication lines, sun crosses line settings on high line operation surface and set locations. Directing communications crosses line setting, opens all signals and modification line set locations, all levels of high set location. Traffic communication line centers are point system lanes of the sun and modification line system location of travels in 12 signature stream location of settings into realms of position location and misdirect line positions back and forth, back and triangulation high position location center lines and communication clocking. Done by equation. And if you look really close, you can see the intelligence right there. Boom. Intelligence. Here's the eyes. See? Always intelligence. Always, always, always intelligence. Okay? All right. So modification lines. 16 track location lines coming in 17. 17 the box line rotation centers. Point system location centers and track location settings. Track to communication system. All levels operation service. High calculation line settings. All line rotation center. Track to communication setting to all levels of modulation line interference and models communication setting. High calculation line centers on all levels of molecule structure locations. Point system, point system, point system, point system. All those calculation line settings, all track to communication. Force line and center line interference. Balance position location operation line settings. Operation line calculation to triangulation position of program settings. Line calculation setting and position to its operation. All levels of high calculation setting and position to its operation service. In the high calculation setting and position to its operation connections. All levels of high calculation setting. All levels of high line rotation surface and retriangulate reline position program settings and all operation line systems in position to its operation. Done by equation. Boom. Right? You guys have to understand how to use space recognition to your set locations, immortal stat, calculations, line position locations, operation line settings, God particles, atoms, molecules, and fractal correlation setting instructions. Coming into the God particle line setting is all understand the point system where it is to track locations. Mechanism high position of travel calculation setting puts you into new technology stream locations and centers. Point system triangulation and reset position programs is all position locations to modification. Woo! See, there's the nose, right? Here's the eye. Whoa! Look at that, right? See how that all works? You see how it all connects? All right, so 18, coming in track location, phase recognition time sequence, all levels. Glossar calculation, stream location, center lines of high interference, high position location, all line setters. High line center, high interference, high position location is measured. Calculation high center interference and throw pattern communication lines of high center interference and travel communications. Opens all signals in line center locations in position to its operation service. Correlations and settings, correlations of balance, correlation of high center line in position to its operation service, and set location of settings in all levels, wire line rotation centers, and track communication setting of point system. Done by equation. All right, so line position locations coming into line setting. What are we reaching the position of in phase recognition? 24. All right, so track locations, leaving an all line rotation centers of track location. All right. All right, so 20 provision. There's where we come in as psychonism. Coming to ESP, the external sensory lines. Center line interference, systematic lines, and perception locations over pi, direct communication lines. Now we come to the placebo cortex of dimensional line rotation centers and 2 lines of 3 line rotation center and track locations. Direct communication of panels, lines, line connection of the clustrum, calculation line center, and high position to its operation. Done by equation. All right. All right, so we go through modification, center calculation settings, 21 line tracks. All right, 21 line, center line interference, operational line cell locations, diamond core line shift, pyramid line rotation, high cell locations, point system, high positions of 24 line settings, 48 clock lines, 72 track locations into 144, triangulation line center location programs, center line communication settings, and all levels of operation service and high position, calculation line center and high position location throw patterns, regulation of time sequence. All patterns of communication. Now my equation. All right. Coming into 22, position line connections, high division line streams. So we get a 22 division line interference, like conditions of 24 line center location, that's calculation of 48, 72 in track lines in line center of 44 line rotations, 2 track location settings, and 144 track communications, point system line directions, high center line interference, traffic recognition time sequence, but position location on all levels. Open all track to its communication setting, all levels of high interference. Sets position location of system and traffic communications. Point system lines of pi, direct signal location system and traffic communications. Opens all line calculation setting and all line rotation surface and clock line interference of future adaptation. Done by equation. Okay, 23 line screens, directing communication of panels. Panels line connections, all mechanism line settings. Point system, magnetic line setting, high line rotation of galaxy shift lines of 1, 2, 3, and 4 set location. Direct and communication line settings, all direct signal line calculation setting to track communications. Common line center line interference, inline rotation centers, and opposition to its operation. Done by equation. Okay. All right. So one more to go. High set line connections of clock lines. High position locations, all lines of clock lines of 1, and positions of 2, and positions of 3, and positions of 4, and positions of 5, and positions of 6, and position of 7, and positions of 8, and set location. Direct communication lines, security line, position location of travel lines, high calculation line settings, all levels of calculation string location system, and travel direction of time sequence. Puts all level of measures and correlation settings of clock lines, high center interference, and travel calculation high interference, Fibonacci swirls, balanced position location line centers, 5 individual location system, travel coordination centers, and 4 clock line interference of 24, 48, 72, 144, clock location setting, indirect signal to its operation service location system, and travel calculations. Done by equation. Now we're done. So we got 24 face recognition. We're all done.
How does everybody feel about that?
But it's amazing how we come into all line position location settings, especially when you come to the fractals of all set location. See? Like this. Right? Okay, all through box, all through triangulation. Mechanism of power, power of recognition, power of the mind over matter. Okay? All right, it's all done. That's it. We got 24 space recognition line settings, all in future of the now. They all exist in line position locations and all set connections to one universal clock of space and time. We are done. All right, that's it. Questions at line communication comes on Zoom. See you in 5. Adios.